The Sixers win! The Sixers win. There is life. There is life. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, sicko nation. We are not tanking for flag. We are not one of the worst teams in the league. Maybe, just maybe, just maybe, DJ Eastwood is the biggest overreactor in the history of sports. Maybe I am. Sixers beat the Hornets last night, 107-105. We're going to talk about everything. I'm going to tell you the things that I liked about the game. I'm going to tell you the things that I disliked about the game. We're going to talk about some things that Nick Nurse said in his press conference about Jared McCain and others. Joel Embiid is set to play tomorrow night against the New York Knicks. Are the Philadelphia 76ers out of purgatory? Maybe we are. Or maybe they're just deceiving us once again. And then, if you would like to join the show, I have the Discord link pinned at the top of the chat. You can call me on the Discord. You can call the phone line. All that fun stuff. Be active in the chat. Give me all the likes before we get into this. Give me all the likes, man. Give me 1 million likes. We need exactly 1 million likes on the stream. Shout out to the members in the chat. Waiters is back. Amir Bay. RJ7 Deuce. William Ortiz, I'll hit you up in that DM, bro. But you want to be a member? I got you. Thank you to all. Thank you for all the supporters. And this is brought to you by Game Time Ticket App. Use promo code CLNS for $20 off your Sixers tickets. Don't use any other app. Okay. This is also brought to you by DraftKings. If you want to bet on the 76ers, current upswing, what are we going to call it? An upswing, an overtime win over the Charlotte Hornets? Are we going to call it an upswing? If you want to bet on the Sixers stock rising with Joel Embiid coming back, get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on DraftKings Sportsbook app using promo code RUNITBACK. Yeah, let's get into the business. Let's get into the business, man. What's good, everybody? Thanks for being here. Real laid-back show. We're just going to chill, talk about things. I'll interact with you guys, and we'll hang out. Overtime thriller last night. Sixers versus Charlotte Hornets. The Sixers win 107-105. The most Sixers-esque victory you could have ever asked for. Doesn't matter who's on the team, doesn't matter who the coach is, doesn't matter what year it is. They can't close a game. They've never been able to close a game in the history of the Philadelphia 76ers. They still can't close a game. They were up by 3 with 10 seconds to go. And I said, there's no way that the Hornets are going to tie this game. The only option for Charlotte was to get a catch and shoot fadeaway 3 quick enough that the Sixers can't foul to force two free throws. It was such a low percentage probability of LaMelo Ball getting in the situation to get that shot when the Sixers, without allowing the Sixers to foul, getting the shot off. What are you doing? My cat's digging through a cat food bag on the floor. Little son of a bitch. Anyway, it was you better go back down. All right, give me 1 second. ramping up again. We ramped up and the cat ruined it, man. This is what happens. This is what happens when your studio is in your house. Maybe eventually we will rent an office space and make a studio that doesn't have cats in it. All right, listen. Let's get back to business. Now I'm out of breath because I ran up the stairs. I need to stop doubting Maury's drafting ability. Aaron Cabbage, what's good, man? Thanks for being here. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah. Only the Sixers could go to overtime in this game. Up by 3. The Hornets needed a specific shot to tie the game, and they gave it to them. And LaMelo hit the shot. It was a ridiculous shot. Went to overtime. And I thought, wow, after blowing that in such a rare, way, we're cooked. We're going to lose in overtime. But the rookie, who we've all been screaming, why isn't he playing, delivers in overtime. Jared McCain had 24 points in the second half and overtime of this game. He finished the game with 27, 10 for 18 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about Jared McCain. I don't know what to say. I was totally wrong about the draft pick. I had no idea he was this good at basketball. And if he gets real minutes, what can he do? If he's dropping 27 off of the bench, what could he possibly do in real minutes? You know what I mean? And he pulled off what I call forcing playing time. When you have a coach in Doc Rivers or Nick Nurse or any other coach who's a stubborn old son of a bitch and just so obsessed with playing old guys, you have to play so good that the coach is forced to go against what he inherently wants to do. These coaches, they don't want to play a rookie. He doesn't want to play a rookie. He doesn't want to play a kid under 30 years old, really. He doesn't want to play inexperienced. All these coaches think they're some kind of NASA rocket scientist. They overcomplicate the whole damn thing, and they don't want to play somebody that's inexperienced, even though he's been playing basketball his whole life. I think he knows how to play basketball. So you have to play so good that coach is willing to go against his instinct and what he really wants to do. Coaches that are a little bit more open-minded and are ready to play anybody, they're going to let a young player get out there and make mistakes and things like that. Or on a team that's more of a rebuilding team, a younger team, the Charlotte Hornets, for instance, LaMelo Ball can chuck as many bad shots as he wants. It's the Charlotte Hornets, Young players are going to get a chance to go through growing pains and play through their mistakes and things like that. On a team like this that's supposed to be championship contender, you hire an experienced championship winning head coach. He wants to play experienced players. You have to play so good and make so little mistakes that coach goes against what he really wants to do and is forced to play you. So that's even more impressive from Jared McCain when you look at it, from that point of view. It's so impressive. And he plays the game like an experienced vet. There's no real development needed for Jared McCain. He has a complete game. He has a 3-point shot. He can get to a mid-range shot. He can break players down off the dribble. He can get to the rim. And really, in the past couple of games, especially without Tyrese Maxey, but even with Tyrese Maxey, we were all saying, why the hell is Reggie Jackson on the floor? Why is Kyle Lowry on the floor? Why is Eric Gordon out there? We need somebody that can make something happen. We watched in the 1-7 stretch of games, we watched so much stagnant offense because there's nobody quick enough to do anything with the basketball. And people point to the coach doesn't have a plan. There's no scheme. There's no this. There's no that. I really just think it's that everybody on the floor is old and slow. It's just basketball. You don't have to have some kind of complex plan or scheme. If you put players on the floor that can take a basketball and go left, go right, make a move, and get past the defender, making another defender step up. You can kick it out. You can drive. Things happen when you have players who can break somebody down off the dribble. And really, Jared McCain, outside of Tyrese Maxey, is the only player that can do it right now. Paul George in the preseason. We're going to talk about Paul George's regular season so far after the hyperextended knee. But yeah, that's the main reason I was screaming for Jared McCain for a couple of games is because his ball handling, his ability to make a move and take somebody off the dribble, make the defense move and create something. And we knew his shot was going to start to fall eventually, and it did last night. And the confidence is just out of this world for this kid, man. And, he had a play where he just got a rebound, dribbled down the floor. I think it was the end of the second quarter with the clock running down, just pulled a three and hit it. No hesitation. I've rarely seen a player that young. Even Tyrese Maxey, rookie Tyrese Maxey wasn't this confident. Can I say that? Does everybody agree with that? Rookie Tyrese Maxey under Doc Rivers was not as confident in his own abilities as Jared McCain is right now. I think I can say that. Tyrese Maxey was more of a development player, and he developed quickly. Every offseason, he added something. He developed a three-point shot. He developed a mid-range shot. He developed more of a playmaking ability. Jared McCain just looks like a complete player, man. And I couldn't be happier about it. And again, what I said after the draft was 100% wrong. It is what it is. I don't care what he does. I don't care if he dances on TikTok, paints his nails, wears a fucking dress. Do whatever you want to do, bro. If you're going to play basketball the way that you played basketball last night, do whatever you want to do in your personal life. So shout out to Jared McCain. And then we really need to talk about this when it comes to Jared McCain. The other major talking point with Jared McCain heading into the season was, can you play him and Tyrese Maxey together because they're both undersized? And we were assuming that both of them would get smoked on the defensive side of the ball. Jared McCain, however, is looking like a serviceable defender at the same time. And last night, in crunch time, on one of the quickest ball handlers in the entire league, LaMelo Ball, who just snatched back somebody 2 nights ago, like a snatchback that sent this dude 7 feet almost into the front row. Jared McCain on an island with LaMelo Ball handling the ball in crunch time, and he absolutely clamped him up, put him in chains, didn't fall for the step back, stayed right in front of him, stayed right on him, and forced a shot clock violation. So Jared McCain has the offensive side of the ball. He might also have the defensive side of the ball. That's a play. He needs all the minutes. All the minutes. Like I'm done with watching Nick Nurse's first bench lineup not include Jared McCain. We're done. Nick, are you listening to me, Nick? Are you listening to me, Nick? If Tuesday night your first bench lineup does not include Jared McCain, I'm driving to Philly and we're throwing hands because you ran out of excuses. You ran out of excuses. You started the season 1-7 because you're obsessed with old, slow players. You finally looked in the mirror, realized you're wrong. The only thing you do better than Doc Rivers, you do a couple things better than Doc Rivers, but the one thing you do, Nick Nurse, that I like, that Doc Rivers does not do, is you look in the mirror, you have a little bit of self-reflection, and you have the ability to go back on what you're trying to do because it's not working. Doc Rivers is just a narcissistic psychopath who will run a plan literally into the ground until he gets fired, and he's never wrong. At least Nick Nurse has a little bit of self-awareness and self-reflection and can say, what I'm doing isn't working, I need to try something else. But I better not see Reggie Jackson again for the rest of this season. Just release him right now. Absolutely cooked, has nothing left, can't make a move off the dribble, can't get to the rim, can't do basically anything. Eric Gordon is buns. Eric Gordon is garbage. Don't put him back on the floor. Your bench lineup should be, and also I'm looking at the stat sheet right now, and your bench lineup should be this. Oh, I thought I had it up here. Hold up. Your bench lineup should be this. Your bench lineup should be Jeff Doughton Jr., Jared McCain, Gershon Yabusele, KJ Martin, Justin Edwards, Ricky Council, Adem Bona if you want to go deep bench. There should be no Reggie Jackson. There should be no Eric Gordon. And the fact that last night, finally, Nick Nurse, we were calling for this too for a couple of games. Jeff Doughton Jr. off the bench. Another guy that can create a shot. Here's Nick Nurse for 8 games, playing Eric Gordon and Reggie Jackson. He finally says, you know what? My G League two-way player, Jeff Doughton Jr., who I gave some time to last season, let's see what he can do. And what does he do? Comes in the game and starts to create things right off the rip. Hits a catch-and-shoot 3. Little step-back mid-range jumper into paint. 11 points for Jeff Doughton Jr., 4 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. So that's it. Your backup guard rotation is Jared McCain and Jeff Doughton Jr. I don't want to hear shit else, Nick. All right? And my man, Gershon Yabusele. Man, what a story. You can't write a story better than this. Gershon Yabusele takes a buyout from Real Madrid after turning heads in the Olympics, dunking on LeBron James. Literally pays $1 million almost out of pocket to come to the NBA and bet on himself, and he's playing like this. The 3-point shot falls for Yabusele. The hustle points. The drive into the rim. The fighting for rebounds underneath the rim. This guy was cooking. And Yabusele, who did he have on the block a couple of times last night, man? Who did he have on the block a couple of times last night? Was it Grant Williams? Diabate? I feel like it was Taj Gibson, Grant Williams, a couple of times on the block. Gershon Yabusele put the biggest drop step shoulder into his defender, knocked him out of the way, and laid it in. I mean, he was just holding L2 and pushing square, and there's nothing the defense could do about it. That dude's 6'8", 275. He hits you with a drop step shoulder. Pow! Get out the way. So I can't say enough about Gershon Yabusele. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 fouls. I feel like he had 15 somehow. Somehow he didn't foul out of the game. I guess that's probably the only real negative we can say about Yabusele so far is that he's getting called for a bunch of fouls. He's still trying to figure out NBA officiating and really, how they call fouls, which is ticky-tack and shit like that. But huge Gershon Yabusele last night. Huge. And the confidence, the momentum, if this keeps building, Yabusele, Jared McCain, Jeff Doughton Jr., I don't know why KJ Martin was a DNP. I think Nurse was just trying to have a plan of having more offense out there. So I would expect to see KJ Martin get back in the rotation. But the bench won the game. Look at the bench points. 20 for Yabusele, 27. 47, 11 for Jeff Doughton Jr. That's 58 points off the bench. Actually, the bench probably outscored the starters. 15 for Paul George, 13 for Drummond. That's 28. 32, 40, 48. The bench outscored the starting lineup by 10 points last night. Do we need to adjust the starting lineup? A lot of people are saying Gershon Yabusele needs to start. Jared McCain needs to start. But at the same time, wouldn't you rather have a really good bench unit, to run out there and kind of have a strong unit on the floor all the time? I do still think the Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin thing is redundant. Caleb Martin, not a good game again. 5 points, 1 for 5 from the field in 41 minutes. had some very nice defensive plays, forced a lot of turnovers on the Charlotte Hornets. Kelly Oubre in 32 minutes, 8 points, 3 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3. Some boneheaded plays, some forced shots, getting blocked at the rim. The Sixers still lead the NBA in opponent blocks, mainly because Kelly Oubre just closes his eyes and runs at people and gets blocked at the rim. I'm looking at the starting lineup, but I'm saying, damn, the bench was better. I think Nick Nurse has some decisions to make. 323 in here. Hit the like button. Give me 300 likes. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. We're almost at 25,000 subscribers. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about Paul George, man. Let's talk about Paul George. Let's do it. Paul George had 15 points in this game. He was 6 for 18. He was 1 for 9 from 3-point range. His last 2 games coming back from the hyperextended knee, he was 1 for 11. So Paul George is now 2 for 20 from 3-point range, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's at about 10% from 3-point range right now. That is very bad, but let's not panic. He's still ramping up. But Paul George is bothering me a little bit because here's the thing. I feel like in the preseason, Paul George played harder and more physical than he's playing right now. He's playing a little bit soft to me. I love his mid-range turnaround jump shots are great. He's playing basically exactly like Tobias Harris, but better. So the get into a mid-range is, I have a lot more confidence in his mid-range shot, of course, than I did Tobias Harris. But he's playing a lot less physical right now than he did in those 2 preseason games. That's what I'm noticing. And then I'm saying to myself, is it because he hyperextended the knee? Is Paul George favoring his knee right now? Is he kind of refusing to get physical under the rim because he hyperextended his knee in the preseason, which isn't a conscious thought. I'm saying, did the hyperextension kind of trigger his mind, and now he's being a little bit cautious, and now he has to kind of work his way out of that mindset of being cautious or fearing injuring the knee. Of course, we know Paul George had a gruesome injury years ago, I think in the Olympics or an Olympic exhibition game or something like that. But I personally think he's in a little bit of a mindset right now where he's timid to get physical, maybe because the hyperextension of the knee that happened in the preseason. So we'll see if, as Paul George continues to ramp up, he gets a little bit more physical and, starts to go a little bit harder to the rim and stuff. But so far, since he came back from the hyperextended knee, I'm basically seeing all jump shots, and he's not playing the game very physically. He's playing the game very soft. But I guess we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he did hyperextend his knee in the preseason. So maybe he works his way out of that mindset and gets back to really just what he was doing in the first preseason game. He was a lot more physical, The final shot of regulation did piss me off. This is the second time Paul George has pissed me off now this season since coming back from the hyperextension. First time he pissed me off was in the Phoenix Suns game when Tyrese Maxey had 30 points, and Paul George thought, I should be the one to take the final shot. And I said this over the offseason. When he was talking about himself on his podcast, he used the word superstar. Okay? And then now in just a couple of games in the regular season, game comes down to the wire. Paul George is taking it upon himself to take the final shot. Does Paul George think he's a superstar and doesn't realize maybe he's a little bit past that and maybe isn't the superstar that he thinks he is or that he once was. Also, on the final shot in regulation, Kyle Lowry gave him a lead pass. It wasn't, I said he led him to the rim, and then when I watched it again, he didn't lead him to the rim, but he led him with a head of steam ahead of the defender. And if you watch the play over and over again, all he had to do was catch that ball, see where Cody Martin was on his back left shoulder, take a strong dribble to the rim, force some contact, get to the foul line, game over. But he caught it, he waited, he backed up, and then he shot a fadeaway three, heavily contested, and hardly hit the rim. And Clippers fans are all telling me this is what Paul George does. He makes the game more difficult for himself than it has to be, and he likes to play cute more than physical. And maybe that's true. I'm not all doom and gloom when it comes to Paul George right now because we signed him to be a third option. So it's not like you signed Paul George to lead your team somewhere and he's unable to do that. I think you're going to get games where Paul George can lead you somewhere, but you're going to get a lot of games like this one where he's 6 for 18 and he gives you 15 points. Like we've been saying all off season, all you need Paul George to be is a lot better than Tobias Harris. And if a bad Paul George game is 15 points and 9 assists, we'll take it. Did we overpay like crazy? Yes. But again, a bad Tobias Harris game, 0 points. A bad Paul George game, 15. I think when Embiid and Maxey are back, do we want Paul George to be taking the final shot in a game? If he's on fire, if he's having a great shooting night, yes, right? If he's 15 for 19, right, and has 38 points or whatever, then of course. But if you're shooting poorly and Maxey's shooting better than you or Joel is or whoever it is, no, he shouldn't be doing that. So maybe this is all just still part of his ramp-up phase. Okay. I do love the 9 assists from Paul George. I think he's been doing a great job of getting others involved, getting in the lane, drawing the defense, kicking it out to McCain, kicking it out to whoever was out there, Lowry, whoever. He had 9 assists, so that's nice. But, man, isn't it wild, man? One game, the Sixers can look like the worst team I've ever watched play basketball. And then 2 days later, they give me hope. And now I'm looking at it and I'm saying, Jared McCain is the bucket off the bench that this team has needed for a long, long time. Since Tyrese Maxey really was the bucket off the bench in his rookie year under Doc Rivers, Jared McCain is that guy. And I was just saying again yesterday when I talk about the Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas or whoever else is just a bucket off the bench. I always mention Spencer Dinwiddie back in his Brooklyn days when he would cook the Sixers with 30 points off the bench. I always say we never have that guy. That's just a young bucket getter off the bench that can come in and it's instant offense, really since like Lou Williams, for the Sixers, man, back in the day. So if you get Embiid back on Tuesday, you get Tyrese Maxey back from a hamstring. Paul George continues to ramp up and is going to be a really, really good third option. Is, I don't believe, any longer a superstar, but is still, I don't think anybody can argue, a really, really good third option. And then you got Yabusele off the bench, Jared McCain off the bench. Maybe Jeff Doughton Jr. continues to get minutes at the backup point guard position. The whole thing can come together, and this can be a really, really good basketball team. You need Embiid, Maxey, and George to have enough games together to figure it out and get through the growing pains and get chemistry. But as far as the depth, I'm excited with some of these players and just hopeful that Nick Nurse continues some of these lineups that he's been playing. I think the Charlotte Hornets defense obviously doesn't test you a whole lot. I think Nick Nurse, the New York Knicks defense will test you a lot more. So we'll see on Tuesday, what they look like against the Knicks with Embiid back. There's a lot of things to consider. You know what I mean? Happy Veterans Day to all the vets watching. Martin Santiago, I salute you, my friend, and thank you for your service. For those that don't know, Martin Santiago's been watching the channel for a long time, and one time he sent me a screenshot of him watching my YouTube videos in a bunker in Iraq somewhere. You crazy son of a bitch. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. Happy Veterans Day to you, and thank you for your service. Yeah. I think I said everything I want to say about this game, man. If y'all got anything else you want to say about this game, listen. Let's do it. Waiters is back. There's no reason not to win tomorrow. Ooh. Knicks got smoked in the fourth against Indiana. Well, they lost to Indiana in the playoffs. One thing I've been noticing with the Knicks so far this season is that the referees are not giving Jalen Brunson all of his slide cancel foul calls anymore. So, shout out to that. You slide canceling little bastard. Go forward. Go to the rim. The jumping sideways shit. It's over. It's over for you. Anybody want to call the Discord or call the phone line? The Discord link is pinned to the top of the chat. The phone line is right there on the screen. If you want to call, you want to have a conversation, you want to join the show, hit me up. Hit me up. This is brought to you by Game Time Ticket app. Go to gametime.co or download the Game Time Ticket app. Use promo code CLNS for $20 off your Sixers ticket purchase. Game Time is the best damn ticket app on the planet because they take all the guesswork out of buying tickets for you. You don't have to go to Facebook Marketplace and all these places to try to find the best deal. They show you the best deals on all of the tickets for anything you want. And DraftKings Sportsbook. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 using promo code RUNITBACK on DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings got me back into sports betting. I wasn't sports betting for the longest time. And I said, you're going to give me $200? You're going to give me $200 in bonus bets? How can I say no to that? So I'm back. They got me back. So, yeah. Use all my promo codes. Support the sponsor. Support the show. 365 in here. Hit the like button. Give me 365 likes. And we got a caller on the line in the Discord. Leandro, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me fix something real quick. Leandro, you there? Yo, Leandro, what's going on, man? Oh, we can't. Hold on. We can't hear you, I don't think. Hold on. Let me fix this. Now they should be able to hear you. Go ahead, man. My bad.
Dude, the nail polish, man. I don't know.
What's up?
Nail polish superpowers, but dude, he's the reason we won last night.
Leandro, what'd you say?
I don't know if it's the nail polish, but dude, Jared McCain saved us last night.
Hey man, he's a damn bucket. I haven't been this excited for a player off the bench since rookie Tyrese Maxey, man. He's a damn bucket. I don't even care. I don't care what he does. I don't care. If Jared McCain continues this, I'm gonna start painting my nails because there's something tied to it. Something good happens, I guess.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, and Maselli and administration like the number one out there. He's gonna look much better with Maxey and Embiid on the floor.
Yeah, he's definitely going to look. You think he's going to play like in lineups with Maxey and Embiid?
I think in moments, but at time, like you don't want to overextend that because it's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, Yeah, he definitely needs. That's why people are saying start McCain, and I'm like, I think I need him coming off the bench. I think I need him coming off the bench and just be an instant offense off the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Like, these last couple games, I was screaming at my TV, just telling Nick, or just screaming at Nick to get Eric Gordon off the floor, dude, because that guy is infuriating to watch.
Well, he finally listened to us. He finally listened to us, man. Any other thoughts you got, bro, about the game or the team or anything?
I don't know. It's just 2 overtime wins that were both nail biters that probably could have, ended sooner had we played defense. But hey, I'll take the dub.
Yeah, that's true, dude. Our only 2 wins right now are in overtime. We could easily be 0-8. We could easily be 0-9 right now. That's true. That is true. But yeah. How do you feel about Paul George? He pissed me off twice so far, but how do you feel? Am I overreacting?
I mean, maybe slightly, but I mean, I do understand. Like, he's giving me Tobias Harris tendencies when attacking the rim.
Is Paul George the Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris's?
I mean, he needs an upgrade over him on that, but
I think he is. But it's better than the Tobias Harris of Tobias Harris's. So if Paul George is just what Tobias Harris thinks he is, then I think I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an overpay, but you just got to live with that with some players like PG.
Yeah, and then we're gonna be hopefully he's I don't know what's gonna happen in the last 2 years of his contract because he's gonna be 36, 37, and 38. Making $50-60 million a year, I don't know, but for now, we'll just roll with it.
But we still got the first pick, so our future's all right.
Facts, absolute facts. Yo, Leandro, thanks for calling the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Shout out to Leandro on the Discord. Get in the Discord now. Link is pinned at the top of the chat. We got a caller on the phone line. Let's see. In Williamston, New Jersey. Yo, what's going on?
Yep. What's going on?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Are you driving?
Yeah, I am driving.
That's all good. We can hear you. Sounds like you're in an airplane, but it's fine. We got you. Let's go. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Sounded like he was in an airplane, and then he disappeared. So hopefully he is still driving and didn't run off the road. Fuck, dude. He said, yeah, I am driving, and then he went away. Hey, whoever you were, hope you're safe. We'll talk to you soon, man. Next, yeah. What are you guys talking about in the chat, man? Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Members first. Yes, sir. My Pacers Vladrick, you're a Pacers fan, bro? Why are you talking about my Pacers handled the Knicks? Mathurin, 38 points, Halliburton, 35. Nobody gives a shit. Vladrak, thank you for the stats from the Pacers game. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. It's all good. You're a Pacers fan. Thank you for being here. You should be a Sixers fan, though, because the Indiana Pacers suck forever. Actually, the Sixers also suck forever. But, who are you in Indiana? You live in Indiana or something? I just can't imagine being a Pacers fan for some reason. Trade that pick. We have Embiid and PG-13. We drafting and developing. David C. is talking about trading the 2028 unprotected first round Clippers pick. You absolutely cannot trade that pick. James Harden is going to be cooked by then. He's going to be 40. What's the future for the Indiana Pacers? What's the future for the LA Clippers after this James Harden regime? Kawhi Leonard's already has one knee. He's probably going to have 0 knees by 2028. What's the future for the Clippers? Norman Powell and Trey Mann or Terrence Mann? Hell no. The Clippers are going to be under the basement in 2028, and the 76ers will be at the top of the draft. No, do not trade that pick. I vehemently disagree. Norm is legit, though. Norman Powell is a nice scorer. Absolutely. That's not winning the Clippers any games in 2028. I can promise you that. Lucas Mata, Yabusele reminds me of a lot of the other French players. The Spurs legend Boris Diaw, big and smart forward who does all of the little things. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I agree. RJ says, bro, half of the bench is unplayable for us. RJ, are you finding a way to be negative after last night's win? Did you just find a way to be negative? You don't need 15 high-level players on a basketball team. Look at this. Look at the Celtics bench. Peyton Pritchard. It's like some other white guy that shoots threes a lot. Sam Hauser. Who else? You got Yabusele, Jared McCain. I think KJ Martin's going to get back into rotation. With Maxey and Embiid back, your bench is probably going to be Kelly Oubre. I don't know if Caleb Martin continues to start. I think you got, with a fully healthy team, I think you got 4 bench players that can perform. If you look at any NBA team's bench, I think you try to get 3 or 4 players that can contribute and try to figure out who those guys are. I would like to see some Justin Edwards minutes, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about this, man. Let's look at Nick Nurse's press conference here. He said something interesting about playing old players. He said something interesting. Somebody asked him about playing younger players, and he said something interesting. Here's what he said. Look at this. He said, asked Nick Nurse about playing Jeff Doughton Jr. tonight. And by the way, he talks about younger guys. When he was talking about Jeff Doughton Jr., he was talking about younger guys. This guy's 28 years old. So when I make jokes about he doesn't want to play anybody under 30, I'm being dead serious. Because this is a 28-year-old NBA veteran. And this is what Nick Nurse said. Nick Nurse said he gives veterans the first cracks at stuff. Until you think that, okay, you've given him a couple shots here and there, and you're not exactly where it wants to be, so then you're going to go with some younger guys. Why? Why is that, Nick Nurse? I need to know why that is. We knew that already, because that's you show that all the time. But you just admitted it. You just admitted it, flat out. When I need a guy off the bench, or when I need some contributions from some players, I'm playing the oldest guys first. You literally just admitted that. I need to know why. So we got to start the season 1-7 because you thought Reggie Jackson wasn't 35 years old and pudgy and fat and slow? Because you thought Eric Gordon could still play basketball? We got to start the season 1-7? It takes those guys showing you what we already knew they were for you to play Jared McCain, for you to play Jeff Doughton Jr., for you to maybe play Ricky Council. What? What's wrong with this guy? But at least he goes, like I said, he has a little bit of self-awareness. He can look in the mirror and say, I need to switch it up. DJ Eastwood told me Reggie Jackson was cooked. I didn't believe him. I had to see it for myself. So I played him for 3 games, and he was terrible. Turns out the psycho Sixers fan in his attic YouTube studio was right. And McCain was outstanding. Let's see what Nick Nurse said about Jared McCain. Nick Nurse on Jared McCain's defense. Yeah, this is the thing that Nick Nurse said about Jared McCain. He was talking about defense, and somebody pointed that out the other day, and you were 100% on the money. You said that if a young player shows any kind of lack of defensive awareness or not running the defensive schemes correctly, he pulls the plug really quickly. But, Kyle Lowry's allowed to get cooked out there, and Reggie Jackson and Eric Gordon and all these old guys are allowed to get cooked on defense every play and lose games by 25 or 30 points to bad teams, and they keep playing. But young guys have to be perfect on defense for Nick Nurse. And about Tyrese Maxey, he said the starting point for everybody, but especially a rookie, do you want to play defense? Are you going to work hard and give the effort it takes to play defense? And he does want to play defense, Nick Nurse says about Jared McCain. And he also said he's getting chances to get better. This is a starting point for anybody, but especially a rookie. He does want to play it. Are you going to work hard and give the effort it takes? That's the same quote. So Nick Nurse is happy with Jared McCain's defensive effort and defensive performance. And last night, the clamps on LaMelo Ball in crunch time was huge. So Jared McCain's defensive performance last night should help out his playing time moving forward also. So I'm excited to see that. A said the Sixers are the favorites against the Knicks. Wow. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Who you taking? Joel, who you taking? In the chat, be realistic. Be realistic in the chat. I know the Knicks are not like a juggernaut so far. They got some chemistry things they got to work out. But be realistic in the chat right now. If it's Joel Embiid's first game back, he's going to start ramping up tomorrow night. Paul George still ramping up. Tyrese Maxey out. Are you taking the Sixers over the Knicks tomorrow night? Be realistic in the chat. That's a trap. Embiid is always rusty his first game back. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I agree with that. Embiid's always rusty his first 5 games back, really. And we're going to try to get him the ball, and there's going to be a lot of turnovers. Joel Embiid rusty equals a lot of turnovers. I'm talking 6, 7, 8 turnovers for Joel Embiid. I wouldn't bet on the Sixers over the Knicks tomorrow night. I'm just excited to watch Joel Embiid come back and see what he looks like and get this thing moving forward, because the beginning of the season has been absolute torture. And when we finally get all 3 players on the floor together, we can forget all about the 1-7 start that we had. Joe D says 30 plus for McCain against the Knicks. I hope so. I do have a little bit of fear in the back of my mind that Nick Nurse is gonna pull a little bit of a Doc Rivers and is gonna still be reluctant to go all in on a young player and is gonna have him, 25 minutes. And we're gonna be seeing lineups, and we're gonna be saying, why isn't McCain out there with this bench unit? I think it's gonna take a little bit more time yet for Nurse to really all the way buy in and play a rookie. I would have played him the beginning of the season. Reggie Jackson's getting 30 minutes. I will. I'm telling you right now. If I see Reggie Jackson on the NBA floor in a Sixers jersey again, I don't know why they haven't released him yet. The people on the internet keep exposing themselves, keep telling me they don't watch Sixers games without telling me when they hit me up and they say, Reggie Jackson needs some run, man. Why isn't he playing Reggie Jackson? And I'm like, just tell me you're not watching the game. Tell me you're looking at the stat sheet and you remember Reggie Jackson from when he played for the Clippers or in Denver, and you're saying, why isn't Reggie Jackson playing? You're obviously not watching games if you're asking me why Reggie Jackson is not playing. You know what I mean? Because we saw him in the preseason. He can't run. He looks like he's stuck in quicksand, and he just looks like he weighs 300 pounds. He doesn't look like he weighs 300 pounds. He runs like he weighs 300 pounds. And we saw him in a couple of stints in regular season games, and he looked just as terrible. So I don't want to see Reggie Jackson anymore. I don't want to see Eric Gordon anymore. Play-by-play with JJ. What's going on, man? I've been so underwhelmed with Nurse so far. I want Yabusele McCain to get more minutes when our big three is healthy and potentially starting. Let's talk about what should the starting lineup be with Joel. You guys want to give me starting lineups before we get out of here for Tuesday night against the Knicks? What should the starting lineup be with Joel Embiid back in the lineup on Tuesday night? Paul George is back, of course, but he's still ramping up. You got to move. Let me go back to the stats so we can see what the starting lineup was against the Hornets. The starting lineup was Paul George, Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond. So with Joel Embiid in place of Drummond moves to the bench. Do you think Yabusele starts to steal the backup center minutes from Andre Drummond? Nick Nurse did have another quote about this when he was talking about Gershon. Asked about lineups with Gershon Yabusele at the 5 doing better than lineups with Andre Drummond. Nick Nurse pointed out Yabu's spacing and the efficient shooting and said that Drummond has to be more productive on offense. Well, I got news for you, Nick Nurse. Andre Drummond is not productive on offense. Andre Drummond is a great rebounder. He's never been a high-level offensive player. He's never had a jump shot or anything like that. So if you want spacing and shooting efficiency, it's going to be Yabusele. Yabusele doesn't have the rebounding instincts that Andre Drummond has. But last night, Yabusele played 31 minutes. Andre Drummond played 24. Yabusele had 8 rebounds. So with Joel Embiid back in the starting lineup, Drummond as the backup center, where do Yabusele's minutes go? You know what I mean? I think you're going to need to play bench lineups with Yabusele at the 4 and Andre Drummond at the 5. If Andre Drummond gets all of the backup center minutes and Yabusele hardly sees the floor with Joel Embiid back, I think that's a disservice to him and to everybody. And I think Nick Nurse knows that. He knows how good Yabusele was last night. He knows how good he's been. And I think he's going to find a way to still give Yabusele minutes with Joel Embiid back in the starting lineup and Drummond as the backup center. So that's an interesting thing to look forward to Tuesday night against the Knicks. But the starting lineup, he's still going to start Lowry at point guard. He's just always going to start Lowry at point guard. Even when Maxi's back, he's going to start Lowry at point guard. Nick Nurse is obsessed with Kyle Lowry. We just need to accept it at this point. So the starting lineup with Embiid back is going to be Kyle Lowry. This is my guess. I think if you wanted a real shooting guard on the floor, you would go Jared McCain. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think it's going to be Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Paul George. What am I missing here? Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Paul George, Kelly Oubre. I guess it's going to be the same thing with Embiid just in place of Drummond. He's probably going to start Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Kyle Lowry, and Paul George around Joel Embiid. And then off the bench is going to be Jared McCain, hopefully Jeff Doughton Jr. and not Eric Gordon, hopefully no Reggie Jackson ever again. And then we're going to see how he works in Yabusele in between Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond. So it's interesting going into Tuesday night. And we'll see if he finds a way to get KJ Martin back on the floor, because KJ Martin was a DNP last night. So there's that. Hey, look, man, 400 people in here listening to me ramble about the Sixers. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We will be live for the Knicks game on Tuesday night, just like we were live for the overtime thriller against the Charlotte Hornets last night. The watch-alongs are growing more and more and more. We had almost 1,000 people live in there watching the overtime. So if you haven't joined the watch-alongs yet, get on board. because it's a lot of fun in the chat and just live reacting to the game together. It's almost like, it's like I'm sitting in a living room with 800 friends, watching the Sixers game. It's a lot of fun. So tune in Tuesday night, and maybe we'll get back to doing the post-game live call-in shows after the game on Tuesday night also. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button. We didn't get 1 million likes yet. We need it. And that's all I got, man. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are the best. And I'll talk to you soon. Sicko Nation. Go forget about the Sixers for a couple hours, all right? Until Tuesday night.